Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to English language lesson with me again today. Let's get into it. Today's lesson, we will be learning on how to ask about ownership of a belonging, of one thing or many things. And second one is to agree or disagree about the ownership of belongings using the possessive pronouns. Let's do a short recap on what we have learned previously. And we are going to focus on the possessive pronouns only. Remember that possessive pronouns are mine, yours, his, hers, theirs, and ours. When we use possessive pronouns, we will end the sentence with the possessive pronouns without bringing in or being followed by any names of objects or person. To begin this lesson, let's watch and read along to the cartoon, which is based on your textbook on page 46. Enjoy!
Mum, where are my trainers?
They're in the bedroom, in the box next to the bookcase.
Mum, these aren't my trainers, they're Tony's.
Mum, whose socks are these?
They're mine.
Whose shirt is this, Sue?
It's yours, Bill. Now, where's my coat?
It's on the armchair, in the hall.
That's my coat. It isn't hers.
Oh dear. And that's not his, it's my shirt.
Oh,
Let's have a look at this slide here. It explains how to ask about ownership of an object and then how to answer using possessive pronouns and to agree to the question being asked. Now remember, we are going to focus in this slide, we are going to focus on one thing only. So when asking questions, we will ask about one object and we will use the phrase is this, is this. When you see this phrase is this is asking about one thing only. And then to answer the question for one thing only, we use the word it's. It's. It's is to answer to is this, which is about one thing only. And it's it apostrophe s stands for the words it is, shortened to it's. Then followed by the possessive pronoun, for example, mine, yours, theirs, ours, his, or hers. Alright, let's have a look at some examples of questions and also answers on how to agree to that question on the next slide. Let's focus on this slide here. Have a look at the picture. What picture do you see? Yes, this is a shirt. Repeat after me. Shirt. Shirt. How many shirts do you see here? Very good. There is only one shirt in this picture. So bear in mind that in this slide, we will be learning on how to ask questions of ownership of this shirt and how to answer to confirm the ownership of this shirt using the possessive pronouns. Let's have a look at the first example. Whose shirt is this? Whose shirt is this? To confirm, we answer, it's mine. It's mine. Next example. Whose shirt is this? Whose shirt is this? It's yours. It's yours. Next example. Whose shirt is this? Whose shirt is this? It's his. It's his. Next example. Whose shirt is this? Whose shirt is this? It's theirs. It's theirs. Whose shirt is this? Whose shirt is this? It's ours. It's ours. Whose shirt is this? Whose shirt is this? It's hers. It's hers. Now class, do you realize that when asking a question about one thing only, we will use the phrase is this? Is this? Because the phrase is this is asking about only one thing. And when answering to this kind of question, we use the word it's. It's. Because it's is pointing to one item only. And remember, it's stands for the words it is. Alright, now let's proceed to the next question. Now class, in this slide we are going to learn on how to ask the ownership of many things. To ask about the ownership of many things, we will start the question with the word whose, followed by the name of the object, and followed by are these. Are these. When you see questions that has are these, it means that it's asking about many things. Now, to confirm the ownership of the things, we start the answer with their and followed by a possessive pronoun, for example, his, hers, theirs, ours, mine, or yours. Now, notice the word their here. Their. T-H-E-Y'-R-E, there. This word stands for the words they are. They are. Now, they are is pointing at many things. When we use they are, meaning to say we are talking about many things. Let's proceed the lesson by learning on how to ask about many things and answering the question using possessive pronouns. Before that, have a look at the picture here. What do you see in this picture? Yes, these are shirts. Shirts. How many shirts do you see here? Very good. There are 2 shirts here. So, when there are 2 shirts, meaning to say this is more than 1. So, they are considered as many. Now, let's have a look at examples of questions and also answers on ownership of these 2 shirts. The first one would be, whose shirts are these? Whose shirts are these? Look at this. It uses are these. Are these because there are 2 shirts, more than 1. So to answer this question, to confirm the belonging of these 2 shirts, we can say, they're mine. They're mine. Remember, their stands for they are mine. They are mine. Meaning to say, this is to confirm, this is to say yes, that it belongs to me. So they're mine. Next question. Whose shirts are these? Whose shirts are these? To confirm, we answer, they're yours. They're yours. Next example, whose shirts are these? Whose shirts are these? To confirm, we answer, they're his. They're his. Remember, the word their here is talking about these two shirts, which is more than one. So every time it is more than one, we will use their. Their, which stands for they are. Next example, whose shirts are these? Whose shirts are these? To confirm, they're theirs. They're theirs. Next example, whose shirts are these? Whose shirts are these? To confirm, they're ours. They're ours. And next example, whose shirts are these? Whose shirts are these? To answer or to confirm, they're hers. They're hers. Now, to confirm meaning to say it does belong to that person. So when we want to say that these shirts belong to that person, we use their and followed by the possessive pronouns. Okay? Bear in mind that we use are these when asking about more than one thing or one item, and we use their, which stands for they are, when answering about the ownership of more than one item. In this next slide, we will learn how to ask question about the belonging of an object or one thing, and how to answer by disagreeing to the ownership of the object. To ask about the ownership of one thing, we start with whose, followed by the name of the object and is these. Remember, when we see is this, we must know that it is asking about one thing. How to disagree to the ownership of the object. To disagree, we say it isn't. It isn't, and followed by the possessive pronouns. For example, his, hers, theirs, ours, mine, or yours. Now, bear in mind that the word isn't here stands for the words is not. Is not. Now, we use isn't when we disagree over saying no to the ownership of the item in question. Now, let's learn how to ask a question regarding the ownership of this shirt here, this one shirt here. Remember, this is about one shirt. And how to answer by disagreeing to the ownership of one shirt here, of this shirt. Okay, let's proceed to the first example. The question is the same. Whose shirt is this? Whose shirt is this? Now remember, when is this is used, it is talking about one thing only. Now, how to disagree to the ownership? Disagree to the ownership, we say it isn't mine. It isn't mine. This is saying no, that's not mine. All right? So next example, same question. Whose shirt is this? Whose shirt is this? Is this? Meaning to say only asking about one thing. To disagree or to say no, we answer it isn't his. It isn't his. Meaning to say we're saying that this shirt does not belong to that one boy or one man. Alright? It doesn't belong to that boy or to that man. Next. Whose shirt is this? Whose shirt is this? Again, we're still using is this, meaning to say we're still asking about one thing only. Now, to disagree, we say It isn't yours. It isn't yours. Isn't meaning to say, we're saying it's not yours. It doesn't belong to you. Okay? Now, next, whose shirt is this? Whose shirt is this? Still asking about one thing because we're still using is this. To disagree, we say it isn't theirs. It isn't theirs, meaning to say we're saying that this shirt does not belong to them, to those people. All right? Next, whose shirt is this? Whose shirt is this? To disagree, it isn't ours. It isn't ours. Remember, when we use isn't, meaning to say is not. Is not is regarding one thing only because of the word is. Remember, is only about one thing. Alright? And the last one for this example here, the same question. Whose shirt is this? Whose shirt is this? It isn't hers. It isn't hers. Meaning to say we're telling that this shirt does not belong to that girl. It does not belong to that woman. Alright? Alright class, let's proceed to this next slide. In the previous slide, we learned on how to ask about the ownership of one object. One object. Now, in this slide, we are going to learn about how to ask about the ownership of many objects, and at the same time, we're going to disagree to the ownership of the item in question. Now, to ask of ownership of many objects, we will start the question with whose, followed by the name of the object, and are these. Remember, just now in the previous slide we use is these. But in this slide we use are these, meaning to say we are asking about many things. When you see are these, they stand for many things. Now, to answer this question and to disagree to the ownership of the item in question, we start the answer with they aren't. They aren't. Followed by obsessive pronoun, for example, mine, yours, his, hers, theirs, or ours. Now bear in mind that aren't stands for the words are not. Are not. We use aren't and are not when we disagree to the ownership of many things. So alright class, let's continue the lesson. This slide we will be learning on how to ask the ownership of these two shirts here. There are two shirts, meaning to say more than one. And then we are going to learn how to answer by disagreeing to the ownership of these two shirts. Alright? Now let's have a look at the first example. The question goes, whose shirt are these? Whose shirt are these? Now look, we're using are these. When we're using are these, meaning to say we're asking about many things or more than one. Alright, so how to disagree to the ownership? We may answer by saying they aren't mine. They aren't mine. Remember, aren't stands for the word are not. Are not. Okay, because the question asks whose shirt are these? So we're answering they are not mine. But the words are not being shortened, it becomes aren't. It means they do not belong to me. They do not belong to me. Okay, next example. Whose shirt are these? Whose shirt are these? To disagree to this question, the ownership of these two shirts, we can say they aren't yours. they aren't yours. This means they do not belong to you. So you're saying they aren't yours. Next, whose shirt are these? Whose shirt are these? Still using are these, meaning to say we're asking about more than one item. Alright, so to disagree to this question, we say they aren't his. They aren't his, meaning to say we're telling that these shirts do not belong to the boy. Alright, next example. Whose shirt are these? Whose shirt are these? To disagree to the ownership, they aren't theirs. They aren't theirs, meaning to say these two shirts do not belong to those people. They aren't theirs. Remember, aren't stands for are not. Are is always used for many things. Okay? Now, next example. Whose shirt are these? Still the same question. Whose shirt are these? To disagree, they aren't ours. They aren't ours. This is saying no, they do not belong to us. They do not belong to us. Alright? And the last example for this slide. Whose shirt are these? Whose shirt are these? And to disagree, we can say they aren't hers. They aren't hers. They aren't hers meaning to say we're saying these shirts do not belong to that girl. That's all for now, everyone. See you soon. Thank you.